Imagine a world where one man, in just over a decade, redrew the map of the known world, toppling the mightiest empire on Earth, and spreading a new culture across 3 continents. This isn't a fantasy novel. It's the story of Alexander the Great and the Macedonian Empire. How did a young king from a small kingdom in northern Greece achieve the impossible? And what was his true, lasting legacy? Today, we're re-diving into one of the most epic stories in history, the conquest of Persia and the birth of the Hellenistic world. Get ready, because this is a tale of ambition, battle, and a legacy that shaped civilization itself. Before Alexander, Macedonia was often seen as the rugged, semi-barbaric cousin of the sophisticated Greek city-states to the south. It was a kingdom of warriors and farmers on the fringes of the Hellenic world. That all changed with Alexander's father, Philip II. A brilliant military strategist and diplomat, Philip transformed the Macedonian army into a professional fighting force. Introducing the formidable sarissa, a super long spear that gave his phalanx an unbeatable reach, he united the warring tribes of Macedonia and then, through a mix of conquest and diplomacy, brought most of Greece under his control. He was laying the groundwork for something huge, a pan-Hellenic invasion of the Persian Empire. But before he could launch it, he was assassinated, leaving his ambitious plans and a powerful army in the hands of his 20-year-old son Alexander. When Alexander took the throne in 336 BC, many saw him as an untested youth. Rebellions immediately flared up across Greece and rival claimants challenged his rule. But Alexander didn't hesitate. He marched his armies south at incredible speed, crushing the revolt in Thebes so utterly that it sent a chilling message to the rest of Greece: "Do not test me." With his home front secured, he turned his eyes east, to the grand prize his father had dreamed of. In 334 BC, with an army of around 40,000 men, he crossed the Hellespont into Asia Minor. This wasn't just a raid. It was the start of a full-blown invasion of the vast Persian Empire, the superpower of the age. The Achaemenid Persian Empire was immense, stretching from Egypt to India. It was ruled by Darius III, a king with seemingly limitless resources and manpower. The clash was set, a small, highly disciplined European army against a massive, multi-ethnic imperial force. Their first major encounter was at the Granicus River, where Alexander, leading his elite companion cavalry from the front, smashed the Persian defenses. This victory opened up the entire coast of Asia Minor to him. A year later, at the Battle of Issus, Alexander faced Darius himself. Despite being heavily outnumbered, Alexander spotted a weakness in the Persian line, charged directly at Darius, and forced the great king to flee the battlefield in disgrace. The message was clear: Alexander was not just a raider. He was a contender for the throne of Persia itself. After securing the Mediterranean coast, including a brutal 7-month siege of the island city of Tyre, Alexander marched into Egypt. The Egyptians, who resented Persian rule, welcomed him as a liberator. They crowned him pharaoh and declared him a son of the god Ammon. With Egypt under his belt, Alexander marched into the heart of Persia, Mesopotamia. In 331 BC, near Gaugamela, Darius III assembled a gargantuan army, determined to crush the Macedonian invader once and for all. On a vast flat plain chosen by Darius, the two armies met in one of antiquity's most decisive battles. Once again, through brilliant tactics and another daring cavalry charge led by Alexander himself, the Macedonian army shattered the Persian forces. Darius fled again, but his authority was broken. Alexander marched triumphantly into Babylon and then Persepolis, the ceremonial capital of Persia, which he later burned to the ground, a symbolic end to the Achaemenid dynasty. But for Alexander, conquering Persia wasn't enough. His ambition was boundless. He pushed further east into what is now Afghanistan and Pakistan, territories the Greeks knew only through myth. He founded cities everywhere he went, many named Alexandria, to serve as centers of military control and Greek culture. His men, exhausted and far from home, faced grueling campaigns against fierce local warriors in brutal mountain terrain. The final major push was into India. At the Battle of the Hydaspes River, Alexander defeated the Indian king Paris and his army of war elephants. It was a stunning victory, but it was also the breaking point for his army. When they learned of the even larger empires waiting for them across the Ganges River, his soldiers mutinied. For the first time, Alexander had to turn back. He led his men on a disastrous journey home, with a portion of his army marching through the brutal Jedrosian desert, where thousands perished from heat and thirst. When he finally returned to Babylon, he began planning the administration of his new, massive empire. He encouraged his men to marry local women, and he himself took Persian wives, envisioning a new ruling class that blended Greek and Persian cultures. He planned new expeditions, including the circumnavigation of Africa and the conquest of Arabia. But these plans would never materialize. In 323 BC, in the palace of Nebuchadnezzar II in Babylon, Alexander fell ill with a fever. After 10 days of agony at the age of just 32, Alexander the Great died. His empire, the largest the Western world had ever seen, was left without a clear heir, setting the stage for a half-century of civil war among his generals, the Diadochi. So what was Alexander's true legacy? It wasn't his empire, which fractured almost immediately after his death. His real lasting impact was cultural. His conquests shattered the old boundaries between East and West, kicking off a new era we call the Hellenistic Age. For nearly 300 years, Greek language, art, philosophy, and political ideas spread across the Middle East and Central Asia. Great cities like Alexandria in Egypt and Antioch in Syria became vibrant, multicultural centers of learning and trade, housing magnificent libraries and attracting the greatest minds of the age. This fusion of Greek and Eastern cultures created a new, cosmopolitan civilization that laid the groundwork for the Roman Empire and profoundly influenced the development of both Christianity and Islam. Greek became the international language of commerce and scholarship, much like English is today. In the end, the Macedonian Empire was more than just a short-lived military conquest. It was the explosive force that created a new world. Alexander's ambition, while personally destructive, served as the catalyst for one of the most significant cultural transformations in human history. He didn't just conquer lands. He connected them, creating a shared cultural space that stretched from Greece to India. The world after Alexander was fundamentally different from the one before him, and the echoes of his footsteps can still be felt in our art, our science, and our politics even today. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this journey into Alexander's world fascinating, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history. Let us know in the comments which historical empire you'd like to see us cover next. See you in the next video.